Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Today.
Don't stop snapping. Ooh, we got a killer episode today. Very Guardians focused, mayhaps off the patch. Also, we got Cannonball, and we are looking ahead to War Machine. No top 10 this week, but maybe in the future. And then we're going to be dreaming up our next backseat gaming deck as well. Oh boy, my headline for the Cannonball stream was, is this the best worst card of a season ever?
Yeah.
Do you catch my vibe? What do you think?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
No, Cannonball's fun. Like, he's good, but like if someone asks you in chat or like in your stream or whatever, and they're like, should I get him? Should I drop my 4 cubes or no, not cubes? Crap.
My
6K
tokens.
Yeah, and you're like, you could pass him.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He's fun. He's pretty good. Real quick, by the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a YouTube channel. I keep forgetting to tell you guys every single week. Only 33 subs. Let's get that number bigger. Come on. If you want to watch the full episodes, all the episodes now, just like on Spotify, all that good stuff, we have the video forms of the episode in their completion on YouTube as well. And you can see here as well how to play Thanos. That is a Patreon exclusive bonus episode that you get those. You eventually get access to those as well. We're going to keep them only on YouTube and Patreon. So after about 2 to 4 weeks of living on Patreon, they become live to the public. Check them out on YouTube. So there's a reason for you to go sub. You could just be like, well, I already listened to you guys on Spotify. Well, if you want the bonus episodes, get to YouTube. Anyway, let's talk about, I guess, a little bit of Cannonball since we're here.
I love Cannonball. I do think he's a little bit better than Pixie. I've cooled on Pixie as the more the season has progressed, but Cannonball, he's got the Legion energy of just stealing cubes. Like my win rate, thoroughly average. My cube rate, it's good, Brad. It's really good. This guy is a monster.
Let's take a gander.
The ability to just sack that best card from their lane in exchange for 8 power of yourself. I've flipped massive point deficits on lanes that my opponents never thought possible. Like,
we have no data.
I kind of like him
yet.
in a lot of these decks better than Eliath because he works well from both ahead and behind. It's kind of a general control. Here we go. Oh no.
Surfer, he's the best in Surfer right now.
That was my discovery. It was what the auto deck will give you. I immediately did a couple vetoes to give me, playable cards like Hope Summers. And it plays actually very well. I tried then Junk. It didn't do so hot. I tried another hybrid deck. Didn't do so hot. Came back to Surfer. Now I've refined my Junk deck a little bit, and I play that instead. I know Lambie did really well with it in Conquest, but over the course of his whole stream, he was like, it's just because I'm a good player, not because Cannonball's a good card. And it's like, oh, we get it, Lambie. That's cute.
Cannonball. The card Galactus needed.
No, the Galactus thing is just thoroughly win more. Anytime people say, this card is good with Galactus, it's like, yeah, but does it set Galactus up? No, it doesn't. It's just to capitalize when you're already winning.
Yeah, it's win just more. It's just, I already have priority with Galactus. No, I don't have priority with Galactus, so I can't Eliath, so I'm going to Cannonball instead to kill a thing that pops up.
Right.
Which, I mean, to be fair, that's still really good. And I think Galactus is a fairly solid home for him. I don't think it's the end-all be-all home, but I don't mind it. I don't mind him having, if he ends up being a mainstay in Galactus list, because it's just the simplicity of it of, okay, I Galactus. Do I have the Eliath play or the Cannonball play? And either one you're happy with and you can win.
It's
true.
Like
that. I like the end game aspect. You just need better setup game for your Galactus.
All you got here is Electro and Wave, which I guess it works. The Goblins already play a little bit into Cannonball. Pro X is an interesting play, but it's just capitalizing on Daredevil here, I suppose. I would really love to see a Polaris pop up, but the Polaris seems to be, and Debris are Cannonball's biggest friends, but obviously Galactus cannot run Debris.
You think, until you do. There was a list not that long ago that did run Debris with Galactus. It was a fake out Junk deck.
Yeah.
And it ran Polaris to clear one of the rocks out of the way. Or no, wait, hold on. It ran Ghost Spider, I think, to pull debris, I suppose.
Okay.
I doubt it was good.
No. Anything Galactus is not that good right now, but I mean, to focus a little bit more on Cannonball, He does have a lot of flexibility, and he's a genuine, to me, genuine replacement for Shang if you're okay going up to a 5 cost.
Hmm.
Because he brings so much power on his own body, and then you can in times get the destruction, and at other times you're just looking for that movement. As long as you have a way of that's locking in this one lane, you can be very happy.
What I want to try tomorrow for my stream is because we spent today, we'll go over the OTA in a moment. Spent today going over like OTA stuff and try out new OTA things with the decks. I
Yeah.
really want to try a good stuff version of Cannonball that
Okay.
features like Miss Marvel and then also Black Bolt and Stature. Because Teddy, as you know, one big reason that I loved my Infomaniac deck was because I
Yeah.
had Black Bolt, Stature, and Legion, and being able to go Black Bolt on 5, Stature, Legion on 6 was always a very strong play. I feel very similarly about Cannonball and Stature on 6. It can't be bad. There's no shot it can be bad. So
The shot that is bad is in the time when, like, oh, if I move this, then I'll just lose another lane, or like taking those 50-50s, like he has to move it to the right lane. Like, that's your problem scenario. But yeah,
right, but
then
like
you just play Shang and Stature, right?
yeah, but that's nowhere near as fun.
No, it's not. Cannonball, the fun factor is awesome. But also, okay, can I cry a little bit?
Sure.
Why did they take away his ability to always leave a rock? Now he
Right.
only leaves a rock when he destroys, which
Is
makes it
that
useless because you're not destroying on turn 5. On turn 6 you're destroying, but then it's at a point in the game where it will have no factor on any future decisions. It's like, is
right?
it just a thematic vestige of like, oh, Cannonball is supposed to leave rocks?
Yeah, it feels a little weird. You would think it'd be the other way around if it was one or the other. It'd be
Yeah,
move replaced with rock and or destroy and that's it,
sure.
right? For it to
Because
destroy
then it
replaced with a
plays into the
rock, it's
junk
like
game plan of like, oh, I moved it to a different location, but I still left
correct.
the body where I attacked,
Yeah,
which is
I don't
seemed
like it.
really desirable.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, this card's way worse than I thought it was. Like
Yes.
just because you don't leave the rock all the time.
I mean,
Maybe
I would I would pay like 3 power off the body, maybe even more to get that always give a rock.
I don't think you need to. I think you could make it a 5/7 and get away with it. I also think you could just keep it at a 5/8 and it could also still do that and it'd be fine.
I mean, I don't want to have like the Legion story happen again where Legion is just every single deck and Cannonball
It's
just
this
being every
this will
single
not
deck, but
happen. Just because you leave a rock bind doesn't make this an absolute banger for every deck.
it
Legion
doesn't, but it
has way
does make it
more.
an absolute banger for junk.
Sure, that's fine. Actual junk decks are bad. Like real actual junk decks, not just playing Sentry, Annihilus, and Hood,
Yeah. I
but
mean, that's what
actually
I
going
mean
like
is,
Debris, Man Thing, Viper, and like Hazmat, Luke Cage.
yeah,
Those are
yeah, don't.
bad. Those are bad.
The Hazmat Luke Cage kind of works, and actually it even worked in that Sarah Surfer variant because you've got the Debris, and then you've got like Hazmat Luke Cage to
Yeah,
combo
the
off
Toxic
that, and
Sarah.
then yeah, like the Toxic Sarah with Cannonball actually is quite fun, and they have Surfer as a point scorer, so it's a cool idea depending on how much you want to lean into the Toxic Sarah idea, but it's
Here we go.
also almost
Toxic
all
Sarah.
X-Men right now for the Imbalance patch, which is helping a little bit.
Uh,
I mean, not
yeah,
that list, but the list that I was running.
I got you. Yeah, I
That one
mean,
doesn't even have Surfer. What the heck?
because this is actual Toxic Sarah control with Shang-Chi, Miss
There we
Enchantress,
go. Yeah,
with
Debris,
Zabu and stuff.
Hazmat.
Yeah.
I would probably cut Mobius, but to each their own.
Chu mean cut Mobius. He's a house.
Yeah,
Just tell
I
the
don't know.
Thanos player you don't get Mockingbird.
So Thanos doesn't care. Maybe he does now. Do we want to transition into the OTA,
Yeah.
or do you have anything
Uh,
left to say on Cannonball?
nope. Fun card. You don't need to get him though.
Okay.
It's if you
Yeah.
find him fun or interesting.
Yeah.
All right. OTA. This is part one, thanks to Snapzone, courtesy of them. The
Yep.
part two. Let's get the part two out of the way. All right, because that's
That's
easier to
the easier
explain.
one.
So
Guardians are better.
yeah, pretty much. They made all of them +4. They're all consistent across the board. No matter what, their ability is +4. And Groot's a 3/7 now. Drax is a 4/9. Star-Lord's a 2/6. A 1/5 Raccoon. And Gamora stays the same at a 512, but her base power is increased to 8. So
She was
massive
always the
buff
good
across
one.
the board. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. She didn't need to go to 513 or anything like that. She's perfectly fine where she is. The buff to the other ones, a gaining of 1 power across the board for all the other ones, is incredible.
Yeah,
The
you really see the
most
power creep in Rocket and Star Lord at the 1 and 2
right,
cost price point. Like they had to have this to maintain any
agreed.
viability.
Yeah, now Star Wars a 2-6, which I think that's very good. So I think really the winners of this primarily are Rocket, Star Lord, right? Because yes, you can run Groot and run Drax. I ran a full Guardians list with like Jean Grey and like stuff like that, like Storm. It was
Yeah, yeah.
fun. It worked well. I
Did you
won
use
games.
Odin?
No Odin.
Okay.
Didn't really have ways to fit it. Now,
Or
if we did,
Grandmaster, Absorbing
we
Man.
now if you want to do an Asgardians of the Galaxy with like Thor, Beta Ray Bill, Jane, and stuff like that, that's fun too. We can cook
Okay.
that up as well.
Okay, we can cook.
But for now we just did like a kind of pseudo lockdown one.
Yeah.
I look, Groot and Drax feel way better. There's no mistaking that. A 4-9 is good, a 3-7 solid. Like that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
However, these guys up here can be bounced with Beast. Rocket can be
Oh, yeah.
bounced twice with Falcon
Yep.
as well. And being able to retrigger this and like just getting one hit in Star Lord and being able to reposition it somewhere else, even if you don't
Yeah.
get the hit again, that's perfectly fine. It's
And
like
he's
with
a
Medusa, right?
1/6. He's a 1/6 stat stick that's
Right.
coming over. Yeah.
That could be a 110,
Right.
and
Go
Rocket
off.
it'd be a 1-9,
Would
or a
you
0-9 essentially.
Is there a world where we play this with like Hawkeye Medusa and it's just like
Yes.
these
I,
guys go
I actually played
crazy?
Medusa in this deck that I was running today
You did
because I
okay.
was like,
Yeah, yeah.
because I was like, I need one more 2 cost, and I was like, let's just do that. That way, if I don't have Star Lord, I have a guaranteed 2-5 mid, right?
Man, now I'm thinking, is there a world where bounce could go like so fast through turn 5 that then you just cap off with a Goliath or something? That would be
Yeah,
nuts.
I think so. Yeah, Hawkeye, Falcon, Beast, the stuff that just like cares about hitting something, and like Medusa, like you said.
Yeah, yeah.
You could even do like Black Swan in there if you want to fit in another
True.
couple of 1-drops.
Yep.
That way you can just have a turn 6 where you play those other one. Like you can go
Yeah.
on turn 5, Black Swan Beast, pick up your or Falcon and pick up your 1-drops, have them cost 0, and then go Goliath and all that.
Right. Because
Also,
I feel like
Bast hitting Rocket now is insane.
the buff on Bast for both of these guys really nice.
Right.
Even Groot plays underneath Bast nerf now, so he would just be like fine on like a high end. There was a world in my bounce deck where I even ran Ironheart, because I mean Ironheart on Bast, let's go. And then, hey, maybe I bounce her, maybe I don't care, but it's still like just more stats on cards that I am bouncing. So
Yeah. No, I think this is amazing. It's what I've been wanting. I literally said, I know I've said it in the past on this cast, I've said it on Snap on Ego, I've said it on my stream. I'm like, can we just give a single point buff to all the Guardians across the board? I don't care whether it's their base power or whatever. Like, they should be higher.
I'm a little surprised that they didn't lean into these imbalance stuff and just get a Guardians tag similar, like play 3 Guardians plus 1 on all Guardians,
Yeah, but they can't have that be a permanent thing. Like, it just won't work.
Why not?
Because it's too goofy and like it's not easy to remember. It's weird for new players. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege. It's my favorite shooter of all time.
Yep.
It's a great game. There are operators in the game. It's like a regular hero kind of like game, like Overwatch, right? They have abilities. You get to choose them. They have their own loadout based on their abilities, on weapons, all that good stuff. Or Valorant, if you want. Or you can think about League of Legends or Smite, except it's a shooter. Anyway, there are some operators that used to have like lore-based abilities that they got rid of because it was weird for new players to understand, and it's like, why did that happen? One example is there's an operator named Zofia, and she used to have a withstand ability, and what that means is if she got shot that wasn't a headshot, you go into a down but not out state. Like you're on the ground, you get picked up by a teammate. Well, Zofia had an ability called Withstand, where you hold down X, she can pick herself up because she's so like motivated or whatever based on the lore, and driven, that she can get back up and have 1 health left over, and she can continue the fight.
Gotcha.
Cool ability, But in practicality, especially because it happened in a pro league match where someone won like a 1v3 at the end because they
Based on
didn't
being able to
realize they
get
were
up.
Zofia and they picked
Ah,
themselves up. And after that, they're like, maybe we shouldn't have this in the game. Another one
yeah.
is an operator named Dokubi does like a phone call thing that calls all the phones and the operators. And one of the defenders named Echo, because in the lore, helped her build her software that hacked people's phones. He was immune to it because he knew the software. But
Okay.
that
Yeah.
doesn't
I mean,
make
stuff
sense
like
from a
that gets
gameplay
really finicky,
perspective.
right? But I mean,
Right.
I don't know. This one, like, people know who the Guardians are if you know about Marvel.
Yeah, but how do you implement? Do you put every does every guardian have an extra tag that says also if you play another two guardians they get plus whatever? Because that just looks really bad from like a templating standpoint and a formatting as like
I
visual
guess. I guess
prettiness of
you
your
also have
cards.
the mess of like, oh, but this character should be a Guardians, or like, who's the core Guardians? Like, is Thor a Guardian? Is
Yeah, because Thor technically is a
expanded?
guardian.
Right, but I don't want him to get the +1.
Adam Warlock is technically a guardian.
Who also got changed. Um,
Amazing
I'm
segue.
pretty happy with all of these Guardian
Captain
changes.
Marvel's technically a guardian, by the way.
Okay, yep. So I guess I've answered my own question. We should not implement this.
Also,
Just buff the
if
core
you want to
ones.
get hey, if you want to get even deeper into it, you can go in the Fantastic Four. Spider Man's technically a Fantastic Four member.
Yeah, no, Spider-Man's in every team, isn't he?
Yeah, quite literally. The Young
Because
Avengers, the
he's with the
Avengers.
X-Men too at some point, right?
Um, I don't know if he's officially brought in as a member. I think it was maybe an honorary thing. He helps out.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
he
he
was
helped out.
officially a Fantastic Four member at one point.
Right.
Um, also, Midnight Suns. He's
Yep.
in. I'm pretty sure he's been part of the Defenders before because it's Hell's Kitchen
Yeah.
and that's his
Yeah.
domain.
That's him.
So yeah, like
Midnight Sun's
that's
Spidey looks so good.
it does. But yeah, let's get into the patch. So first thing, Miss Marvel, or not sorry, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, back to a 4/5. Teddy, we're back. She's
What
she's
a winding road we've taken
good
to still
again.
be bad. Oh,
It's funny how she had her like 2 weeks in the sun. Like
yeah.
her time frame of being like the best thing to be doing in Marvel Snap was shorter than Black
Yeah.
Bolt statures.
It was.
It
She
was
got
like a
changed so
week.
quick. Man,
It's like the power creep. She should
kind
have
of.
this change should have happened months ago.
Yeah. And if they actually wanted her to be playable, she should be 4/6 at least.
Yeah, I agree. We can't have a 3/6 movable thing with Zabu now, Teddy. You just
Oh
can't.
no, it's just because of the S tier of S tiers.
Right, yes, yes.
This is our Glenn, by the way. Glenn, if you're watching, we'd love to have you on.
Yes, please. Um,
We know you're
actually, yeah.
smarter than us.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's his job, and I don't envy him in any way, shape, or form. He has the one of the hardest jobs in gaming in general, balancing your game of any variety, especially card games.
Especially a mobile
Not
card game like this
yeah,
one. Snap
not
choose up.
fun.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that like complained. Let me just say this real quick. The amount of people that have complained today about Adam Warlock, Psylocke, and APOC in particular. And I'm going to rapid fire these real quick, just the
Okay.
whole thing, and we'll go over
Sure.
them in a moment. Adam Warlock's now a 5/5, same ability. Psylocke
Nice.
is a 2/1, same ability. APOC,
Fine.
same ability, down to a 6/6, lost a couple points of power. And
This
then
card
Mind
was getting
Stone,
good.
yep, the big one is now a 2/1. It is the first stone to not be a 1 cost. It looks really weird. It feels really
Yep.
wrong, but I
Yep.
understand why they did it. Now,
No more
all that
Mind
being
Stone
said,
on 1 and Snap.
yeah, that's true. And a little harder to high roll the double stone thing for Mockingbird, but I still think she should be a 6/10. But anyway, I saw a lot of complaints about these three cards, Adam Warlock, Psylocke, and APOC in particular. And a lot of them saying, essentially, do they not play their game? Is what I always see, right?
Okay.
So for Adam Warlock, they're like, okay, we knew that him being a 5/4 was bad. So you really think
Right.
adding one more thing of power for this is going to make him good? Duh, a 5 cost is never going to be good. First off, to those people that say that, understand they're trying to gather data on a thing that they're trying to accomplish with the card. They just want to see what happens. They've already said they know they're going to revisit Adam Warlock after the 5/4 thing. It's probably going to be true on this one as well. They want to see what they can do. And they've already said they can't just slap a on reveal draw a card on him because even at 5 cost, almost every deck, it's going to be hard to not run him, especially combo
Yeah,
decks.
it's such a dangerous ability. Like, you don't want Adam Warlock to be good. I understand there's people out there that are fans of Adam Warlock, but in terms of like general health of the game, you don't want this to be a top card.
Correct. Next thing is Psylocke. People are like, well, she was bad and underplayed in decks because of the 2-1, and now she's definitely only going to see playing Thanos. So you're nerfing Thanos by hitting another card. And it's like, well, yeah, that's how game design works. Thanos, and they also hit a stone. So they did two things. They hit
Yeah,
parts of the axis on Thanos, and they just hit Time Stone recently. So their energy costs like that has been brought down. The deck already runs Hope. So they're also trying this in Psylocke. Glenn has already said he's certain. It wasn't even a maybe up in the air thing. He said, I am certain this will not be the last adjustment we make on Psylocke. I think
yep.
she's eventually just going to get phased out of the energy thing, get a full rework at this point. Because think
Wow.
about it. What makes her unique anymore? She's now just a 2-1 that gives +1 energy, where they can't increase her cost, right? Because then she's has this weird overlap with Corvus, Electro, and Hope at 3
Yeah,
cost.
you can't have them all at 3 cost. You could bring
Right.
her up to a more expensive card that maybe gave a higher energy burst.
Like what, like make her a 5 cost, give +4,
Yeah.
+3.
Yeah, something like
Okay,
crazy.
that could be interesting, but then the ramping into it seems a little scary. With things like Hope Summers, right?
Let's do
The
it.
the other
This
side,
is Snap now.
yeah, the other side is you can't make her a 1 cost because you just make
No.
her a better another version of Time Stone, essentially the original, and that
Yeah,
was the
a
problem.
universal time stone is just too much.
So and at 2 costs, she's already kind of conflicting with Zabu and Ravona in a way. I know it's not the exact same thing because it's energy cheat versus cost reduction, but the decks that would have played her before, like negative, have already dropped her in the case of just being like, yeah, we just run Zabu and Ravona. Um,
Right.
so I think what's best for the character eventually in this card in general is just to give a little bit of a rework to just a new ability, new effect. I don't know what that would be. I'm not a huge enough fan of just X-Men stuff in general to be able to give you a great definitive answer on what the lore and flavor of the rework could be. If you want to let us know down below in the comments, if you're watching YouTube, by the way, you can do that. Let us know because I want to see what she could be. That'd be really cool. And the
I'm
last
pretty
one,
sure she does like portals and stuff too, so
right?
she's got like a broad power range. But yeah, like I don't know, the 2 cost was hitting a sweet spot, and then her danger was always any like high priority 5 cost getting to play it early. The Pro
Right.
X was like the most egregious one, but now that he's been nerfed down, yeah, she's still
And
lethal in giving
Ravona
you that
fills the
access.
slot of ramping into Professor X
Right? Yeah, yeah.
the same way. Um, the
Renslayer's
last
just
one,
waiting, like one day I'll be good.
yeah, the last one is APOC, and this was the most egregious one of people complaining in the subreddit, Discord, and even the Ask the Team section on the Discord, saying, "Oh wow, you nerfed the discard card. It's not even the problem. Hella's the problem. Hella has a barely 50% win rate and an okay cube rate. And frankly, Glenn even said this. He said, actually, APOC has a much better win rate and a slightly better cube rate. The only thing they're even close on is cube
Yeah,
rate. The reason
right.
Hella has a good cube rate is because she's an 8 cube stealer, because you dumb fucks. Only one I'm going to curse on this episode. You stay in when you see they're going to play Hella. You watch them discard Hulk and Infinite and Giganto, and they snap on turn 5, and you're like, I wonder what they could be
But
playing
what
on
if they
turn
don't have
6.
it this time?
Yeah, what if it's a bluff? What if it's not?
Yeah.
But the whole point of the game is
Costs,
essentially poker in space.
it costs you 2 cubes to say it's not. It costs you 8 cubes to say it is.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's tough. It's tough.
APOC is the more consistent version of the deck. Draco is a very good card. The buff to Meek's great. And they're not going to just revert the Meek change because I don't think it's a bad change. I think it's good. APOC
No.
shaving a little power on the top end, I think, is the great correct adjustment. You don't want to change the meat and potatoes of the deck, right?
Yeah, I would have been even on like they could change the interaction where Dracula would take the base power of APOC instead of the buff power of APOC, but because they've always stuck with Dracula taking the buff power of APOC after that final discard, then it just makes sense that he starts out a little bit weaker.
Right.
Yeah. No, this deck is still good, and at 2 points down, it's still winning. Obviously, there's some tight margin games, but generally your game plan against this deck is when you see the Dracula come down, if you don't have control for it or some like tricksy, oh, I'm gonna give you a Widow's Bite on the final turn kind of thing, you don't even want to fight that Dracula lane. You know that's lost. Like the APOC Dracula combo puts down too much pain.
Yeah. I just is it bad that I want like another version of Spider Ham again, like that original version? Like I don't know, is there a way to make it, because there's no way to really counter APOC, because the second they discard APOC, he goes to the right side anyway. So Spider Ham's not going to hit him unless you catch
Yeah.
him on turn one, luckily,
Right.
right? So because he's not one of those cards like other 6 drops like Hella, where it's like the longer the game goes on, the more likely he shifts over to the left.
Yep. Yep.
What if they changed it to where his text was when he got discarded, he just came back to the left hand side when he regenerated?
Oh, so he's a guaranteed ham hit? Hang on. What's his Red Guardian's updated text?
Red Guardian is a 3/3 that says afflict the lowest power card -2 and then take away its text.
And remove its text, which might happen to be Dracula a lot of the time. This could be
Right.
your more multi-purpose discard counter coming out very soon, because obviously Lady Deathstrike is not it, even though she does counter, and some of the tools
She
like
needs to be a
Master
4
Mold.
cost.
Yeah, exactly.
But they can't
Like,
because Zabu. See that I hate talking about this every single Teddy,
well,
I'm
then
tired
don't do it.
of
No,
it.
Brad, just don't do it. Just cut it. Well, Red Guardian's in front of you. What does Red Guardian do for you, Brad?
He gets rid of Dracula.
He does. He gets rid of Dracula. So, like, help is on the way, I guess. Because I
Yeah.
could see you getting to work this. It's at a price point and a utility level that I think is kind of just good cards level. If you have an open slot, you could think about running Red Guardian, as opposed to any of the other fringe cases that do counter discard but don't really counter discard.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like discard's really good. It's very consistent now, especially with like Proxima and stuff like that. It just has better hits. The
Yeah.
targeted hand discard is very good.
Well,
with,
this
like
was your
Blade.
climb to infinite this season, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we went crazy with it. Let me look real quick. Double check the stats.
Have you played it post infinite, or was that just kind of the grind?
I haven't had time to play post infinite just because we did all these other ones. Like we went, I did this one. At worst, it's a 5/9. Originally, I had 29/9 in the deck.
Oh no!
But I
Say it
swapped it
doesn't
for
sell.
Arrow. We did okay. 12-9. Went 11-14. Negative win rate with this list, but I got that positive cube rate, baby.
Guardians,
Plus
baby.
1 cube. Hey, that's incredible. 0.004. Damn, I'm so good.
Yeah.
The junk one was not very good. The junk version.
That one took some
Cannonball.
warming up too from me, but now I'm in love with it. I play a slightly different version, but I can shoot it too if you're
I
interested.
found Dazzler to be bad. I realized like that, like, oh, I don't feel my side enough, but I like Mojo as a thought.
No.
But maybe. Where'd it go? Where was it? Oh, I gotta just
You
expand.
bumped it off. Yeah.
Current season, I guess. There it is. We went 39-16. That's what it was.
Yeah, there we go. There's the stat line. So yeah, like this deck is very powerful. It just puts down a lot of pain.
Yeah. So yeah,
And
if we just had another way, and frankly, I don't. The other thing was like before with old Leech with an on reveal, if you had priority, you could go Leech on 5, flip up before their Modoc does, hit their APOC, Modoc swipes the hand away, and they get no regeneration.
But now Leech doesn't even hit APOC.
Right. So I don't like that Leech change, by the way. I kind of just.
No, I don't either.
I don't even know how you change that.
We just bring him back. Like he wasn't that one was like a head scratcher for me because I was not seeing him very often. I know he's a big feels bad to play against when he actually goes off and like wrecks your deck, but I mean,
people
just like they said in the
leave.
notes is that he was a release valve when some specific decks got out of hand until they would patch and they would nerf those decks but leave Leech. So
but now because they said that they wanted to make him a more narrow target because on reveals were what he hit the most anyway, which
they make him
statistically
a 4-cost.
speaking, yeah, exactly. Also, by making him a more narrow target for like a specific thing, he no longer can be that release valve because people
Yeah,
won't run
exactly.
him because he's too niche.
Yeah.
Like that's the
So you
problem.
need to make him cheaper to be like, I can play him early, and you have a decision matrix on like, do I just set him up for the final turn, or do I want to set him up early to be able to cripple their mid game? But they're going to draw new stuff, and I know that they're going to like fill out their hand. Like that's interesting to me. But the Leech as he is now is like, I'm never even going to touch it. I'll play
It's
Sandman 100
it's
times over instead.
it's interesting that Glenn has said before that he's not a fan of sideboards in the game.
Yeah,
I don't blame him. I get it. I
it's
understand
hard to implement.
being. I agree, but I think they can still do it. I do. I really firmly believe in that. Like in a different mode, ladder can be ladder, and it's fine. You can have a third mode, or if you want to implement it in conquest, whatever. But I find it weird that he's. I wouldn't say vehemently against it. He said he's one person he can be swayed,
Okay,
and his thought can be overcome. That was his exact answer.
let's
Uh,
go.
so
Yu-Gi-Oh style special summon boards.
right.
You can pull stuff over.
Uh, but it's weird that they aren't a fan of the idea of sideboards, yet they seemingly like the idea of making cards sideboard cards. Because Leech,
Yeah,
like it or not, is straight up a sideboard card. And
right.
I like that if we had sideboards. I would love this Leech change if we had sideboards, because I'd be like, yeah, I could fit him in my 3 card sideboard, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that.
Like
Cool.
Rogue is right there.
Right. And I'm all for
Echo,
having narrower stylization of counterplay
Echo,
if I have a
Ghost.
better way of bringing them in.
Yeah,
Just as it stands right now, why run Ghost in any deck that isn't benefiting it directly? Why
or
run?
Echo. Like Echo is
Yeah,
like one of the most egregious ones, right?
yeah. Like I
Yeah,
just every time I'm making a deck and someone's like Echo, and I'm like, I guess like maybe 40% of the time I'll see a card that I can hit, but really, I'd rather just be offensive in
yeah.
my play than defensive on the off chance they run.
Now
Like just
listen,
some
we're.
crazy person's like on turn 5, I
I'm,
drop Echo, flip, and they're like, and just claw hits mid, and I'm like, whoa, like it's
yeah,
amazing, wow.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I'm Florida man. We go face.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't play Euro control, which is
Uh,
you're in that stereotype, right? Like the American player's reputation is all aggro, and the European stereotype is all control.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
it's great. As it
Catching
should
the
be.
audience up there. It's just like across all card games, that's like the personality stereotype.
But yeah, that's discard. How do you feel about Thanos, by the way, with the time stone thing or the mind stone? Like they got a 1-2 punch on Thanos the last couple weeks, and
Big changes to Thanos. It's kind of encouraging to see that they're not immediately going to Mockingbird and letting her cook a little bit. And just because Thanos got like such a good toy there, I think it's nice to try the changes in other places. Mindstone on 1 and Snap, like the turn 1 Snap, and you saw they were a Thanos deck, was always like really annoying. And now that you take away this turn 1 Power Smack is great because it means they have to use one of their, like now Greenstone on 1 is actually your best stone, right? Because you get the draw and the discount immediately. You don't care
hey,
about waiting.
hey, maybe you'll draw mind stone.
And you might draw Mindstone to be able to roll right into it, right? And then you get your big cheap Mockingbird. So no, I'm actually happy with this for like the longevity of the game
Ooh,
and not seeing
you know
Thanos
what I just
just run the
realized?
table. What'd you
Not
say?
only does this take away the turn 1 play, this
Yeah.
takes away my favorite play in Thanos, which was
Oh,
turn
Devil D
yeah,
Mindstone.
Dino and
Yeah.
Mindstone on 6.
Yeah.
Oh, that
A 1 cost draw
sucks.
too is pretty crazy. And
Right.
it brings down Thanos Zoo as well with like Kazar.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not by
Like
a lot, but obviously by a little.
Thanos Zoo just catches strays, right? And
Yeah, I mean, it's the inferior version, but
any version of Thanos that isn't the version right now is the inferior version.
it's true. Like Destroy Thanos had a little bit. Now that one's not it, and
Right.
ongoing Thanos not it right now. It's put your big boys down on the board. I am fascinated to think about what the Thanos matchup is going to be like once we get the Thunderbolt cards, with all of the like pull the cheapest cards and some other stuff like that.
Do you I want to do something real quick that
Okay.
I thought I had an idea of it. Okay. Let's go to I want to kind of pull up the team questions or whatever
Yeah.
from the Discord, and I
Yeah.
want to give our answers to them as well.
Okay.
Okay, see if we can
Have you seen
interpret
some
things.
spicy ones?
There's always spicy ones. My favorite. So let's see. Um, there was one about the Thanos problem, which was answered by Glenn. I don't.
The
Is there a way I
Thanos
can?
problem.
Yeah, Thanos problem. Can I just put it in the browser?
Meanwhile, guys, every single week Brad submits the Zabu problem. Glenn is like,
Glenn,
ignore
please.
this guy, ignore. Brad has created multiple Discord accounts, but it still is not getting through.
All right. So this is the thing. Asked by Nick Prince. Go ask my question first, and then the explanation stuff later. The secondary balance team believe that Thanos' design and the Stone's design, as an extension of that, is inherently problematic for the game going forward. The OTA patch notes today said the secondary does not think the Mind Stone change is likely to solve the Thanos problem, but that you're looking for a better solution. In other topics, Glenn has noted that new cards are more likely to end up in Thanos than other archetypes just because the archetype is so versatile, which is true. And obviously, after more or less 4 months, if Thanos is the best or one of the best decks, he's seen multiple nerfs and has not gone anywhere. However, last week's patch notes included this. Once we see how this change affects the Thanos decks, we'll look for the right spot to add back some of the strength we took away in previous patches. The change in tone between the two is really interesting to me, especially since it's only been a week from our perspective. And Glenn goes on to say, I might not go as far as to say that he's inherently problematic, but Thanos
No,
does provide
obviously
us
not.
with a unique challenge due to his flexibility and strength. When we wrote the notes for Time Stone, we were worried it was slightly too harsh of a blow, as Thanos decks at the time played a lot more expensive cards, and losing access to the energy would hurt that a lot. Demonstrating part of the challenge, Thanos adapted in such a way that the Time Stone change stopped being much of a nerf at all, which is true.
By adapted, it means it ran Mockingbird.
It gained, yeah, it
It's
just gained a
obviously
card.
just a great tool that it wanted to run anyway. Just kind of broke the shackles of the old meta just a little bit faster. I mean, I don't think it's inherently problematic. I think that part of the problem is that its natural predators have never been good or have actually been made worse. Like Hawk used to be kind of the natural predator to Thanos. If you were playing the Dark Hawk deck, which was quite good, and then you managed that Thanos matchup, you're like, I got this guy. And as a Thanos player, you knew that you were in trouble and you had to like add tech cards just to like for that matchup and stuff. But now with Blob and just him not being around, you're fine. You get to run it for free
It's not
basically.
even just Blob. It's just the simple fact that Thanos is so good about putting large cards. They have
Yeah.
access to Devil Dino. Mockingbird now is is essentially a 1/9 at times. You have Scar in certain versions of the deck that's just a 4/11 or 2/11. Cole Obsidian is a 4/10. Blob is a minimum of 6/15. Like you have all these cards that are just really good at just saying, yeah, sure, you inherently counter my deck in a way, but I can either Shang-Chi it or I can just go bigger because you got one
Yeah.
Hawk. I got 6
Exactly.
cards that go minimum 8 or 9 power.
Yeah, and it used to be you would much more consistently have two Hawks with the cheaper Hawk, and now you really don't. You get one.
Yeah.
So that I think that's part of the equation is that the counters to Thanos, like aren't there in the meta or just have actually been nerfed because you also have Killmonger. Well, what they run Kyera? Like, what are you gonna do? They've
And even now, like I think the stones are more so not as important as they used to be of sticking on the board.
right.
Soulstone is like nice to have, but I've seen plenty of times where players just like they get a Killmonger from like Camp Lehigh, and they're
Yep.
just like, yeah, I'll sack my Soulstone. That's fine. I can generate the power elsewhere.
Yeah. Open up other play patterns. So
Yeah, so that one's always interesting to me. I don't know.
yeah,
Thanos is a weird thing. There was gotta make
I
sure.
like him because the stones provide such interesting play patterns. It's just that his brute force power generation is so high that he's not actually a high skill ceiling deck right now. It's not like Loki, where Loki is like pretty high skill ceiling deck. I feel like Thanos should be in that spot with how he plays, but is just brute force too much right now.
So this one has no response. Let's answer
Hmm.
for them, okay?
Okay.
Let's find some ones that don't have a response because you see, like here's a response here, response
Oh
here.
no.
Like they just kind of conveniently skipped this one and a couple other ones. Anyway,
Yeah.
we recently haven't had any in terms of Series 4 releases? Is this just random long stretch between them, or is it the way it's going to be moving forward? If so,
Yep.
why? What goes into deciding which series to release a card into?
Money goes
It,
into it. Have you scrolled through your shop recently? How many bundles are for gold and how many are for real money? A lot are for just straight up real money, not gold bundles. Like,
and the gold bundle that recently came out was 2,200 gold, and it was
it was
really,
so
really
bad.
bad value.
That one,
And
it
I
was
love
brutal
Ink Pulp.
because they gave us a gold pass. They were like, hey, do you want to trade real money for gold? Okay, now what do I do with my gold? Nothing?
They're for albums now, baby.
Yeah, fill your albums. Which, to be fair, that if you look at the album rewards, it's good, but it's nowhere near like a good exchange. Like, it's not a reason to chase the albums, but if you're naturally filling one out, you do get a nice shot in the
I
arm.
was pleasantly surprised because my friend said, "Oh, there's a Max Grecki takeover or whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, the album just came out, I guess." He's
Yep.
like, "Yeah, I had like 3 of them," and I was like, or like whatever, and I'm like, "No, he had 2 and he bought one just to get the third one."
Right.
And I was like, "I'll go check" because I hadn't logged in for that day, and I just randomly had 6, and I was like, "I didn't buy a single
Hey.
one of these. I've pulled
Yeah,
all of them." And he's
exactly.
like, "All right, congrats, you just got free 2,000 tokens." I was like, "I'll take it."
Yeah,
That's
that feels nice. That feels nice. Like, that kind of pattern feels good. If you tie even more on the albums to like that art progression, so you're constantly like picking what variants you want to invest in, and then that is fueling other resources, that would be great. But I think they're also hoping to have, instead of just one series drop a year, 2 series drops a year. And so if everything just releases into S5, they want to cultivate S4 to be worse cards than S5. So rather than guessing when cards release and then balancing them later on, they just want everything in S5. Then they look at card performance, and then they bring stuff down into S4 that they want in S4.
how many cards dropped in the last series drop.
Not that many.
So I let me look at this real quick. I think this is a problem. Let's talk about this really quick. So they said there's going to be 1 or 2 other series drops
Well, yeah. So
this
so
year.
it boils down to, what do you think the price tag should be for staying series complete? Should people be able to be series complete if they buy the battle pass every season?
Yes,
Okay.
frankly,
I mean,
yes.
that's what I do.
I
And okay,
think
so I'm in a weird spot, right? Okay, full disclosure. As a content creator, they give me the $20 gold bundle every month. I
that doesn't do
have
anything for our progression for the most part, though.
22,000 gold stockpiled. I have not been spending this gold. I buy the battle pass, not the premium battle pass, just the $10 battle pass every month. I'm series complete, and I have not put additional funds into the game for a very long stretch of time. I've transitioned from full-time content creation to a different main career path. So I'm just keeping up with the battle pass, and I am collection complete, and there's not really an end to my resources in sight right now. So I'm
Right.
basically doing it, even
Yeah.
with all S5s.
Chris and I talked about this in the last episode of Snap on Ego. We agree that there's like a certain point, like this plateau point, in which when you, because I also haven't been spending nearly as much in the game as I used to, I would
Yeah.
get like, I would try to get like all the bundles when they came out. And now I just get like, if it's good value, I might get it, or if it's really cheap. Like I got the Sentry one because it was $20 and I thought the value was decent. And I wanted a Sentry variant that I liked. I didn't
It
like any
looks
ones
so
I had.
good.
So I was like, cool, let's
There
go with
is
that.
serious bundle fatigue. Like, they've given us so many bundles,
Right.
it's exhausting. And then you have to evaluate the value of every single one. Like, I wish the bundles were just like either like the super whale status item, like, oh, that was the 150 bundle, that's like the ultra rare variant, or they were very cheap, like max value. And so like once a season you'd be like, do I buy the bundle for $5 because it gives me so much? Well, maybe I do. I wish it was more like that than all
Yeah.
this mid pricing stuff that's just
But yeah, you
ugh.
reach this certain point of like a plateau where like I stockpiled enough tokens. Like I got Cannonball with tokens. I didn't even bother using caches
I used
because,
one key. I got lucky.
well, good for you. I
Thanks.
just didn't. I don't like any of the variants in this week or next week for that matter. So I know, crazy, right?
Did
Um,
you see the Kitty Pride? Are you
I have the pirate Kitty Pride. I never need a Kitty Pride. I'll never need it.
okay?
I like the
Okay.
pirate one a
But
lot.
have you clicked on it to show it what it is when it's animated and the rain is
Yes, I do
falling and you
that. I
feel
do that
sad
every
inside?
time by default.
It made me feel something.
Do not. Do not cite the sacred text to me, which I was there when it was written. But yeah, like I don't care for any. Like, let's look real quick. Like, let's look at the variants for this month.
The bubblegum Ms. Marvel was like meh, for sure.
I clicked on this. Let's go there. Cool. So that one, don't care. I have Peach Momoko and I have Rion Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Cannonball, a better one, came up in my shop today, and I got this one
Yeah.
here for 700. So I'm fine. I
Yeah, that
don't
was the
need it.
mix.
And the Kitty Pride, cool. I like it. It looks nice, but again, I have the Thief Pirate one, and I love it. It's so goofy. It's so silly. What do you think she's got in there? She got gold in there. She got trinkets. Like what's going on? What do you got in there? I like
That's
it.
the Lockheed as an egg, I think.
Oh yeah.
Stole the dragon egg.
I also have this one. I have this one, and I have I think this one. Like I have 3 other ones that are also fine. That
I've got a bunch right now.
I'm not going to use them.
I actually like the Stormbreakers one a lot.
Also, this is the 3rd spotlight. 4th. This is the 4th spotlight cache variant for Kitty Pride. I don't need any more.
She's been in a lot, and it's been a while since she's been good. So
yeah. So my point is like I don't need any of the variants here. So and next week the Silver Samurai, don't care. War Machine, don't care. The Silk, I have the other Spotlight Silk, this one, which I love. As far as I'm concerned, this is really the base art. This is the base art. When I see the actual base art, I'm like, huh, because I don't see it often.
No,
I see the other one. So
yeah,
what I'm saying is like I have 40,000+ tokens stockpiled, and I have like 16 caches.
Crazy.
Like I don't need to invest in the game right now.
Yeah.
To like do anything. But with that being said, if you look, this is how many in a row? 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. There are 36 cards in Series 5.
Yeah.
If we only get, like Steven said, 1 or 2 more series drops for the year, and they drop 5 while we're gaining, as it stands right now, because we haven't gotten a Series 4 card in a hot minute.
Yeah.
And all the data mines suggest all the future cards are also Series 5. So we gain, let's say the next series drop is in summer, like either May or June.
Yep.
So let's say it's June. So that means we have April, May, and that's 10 more Series 5 cards, right?
Yep.
And then June rolls around, that's 15, they drop. So we went up from 36 to 51, and they dropped 5 cards. And now we've still gone up like 9 cards in Series 5, even with the drop.
They're going to have to drop way more.
It's not sustainable.
If they're going to follow that pattern.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. It's really not. And that's not even talking about Series 4.
I liked the monthly series drop thing.
I did too.
I felt like it generated hype. Like people were always talking about what was dropping and like what they were looking forward to dropping. And I thought that was just like a fun conversation and like a healthy spot for the game.
The last Series 4 card was Meek.
Yeah.
When did he come out? Release date. Or isn't there a release date? Yeah. Released in January.
Very beginning of the year. Now we're in a new age.
I don't. I mean, and then even then we had Havoc, Martyr, Man-Thing, Mobius. Like Mobius was September, right?
Yeah, so it was kind of spread out one a season.
Yeah,
but that was back when you only got 4 total cards instead of 5.
So we're getting 5, and they're all Series 5.
That's the thing, is it's 5 and all Series 5.
They can't maintain this.
Well,
like this. Okay, is it weird of me to say that it feels like we're approaching like the bubble of like the housing market collapsing type of thing with like 2008 recession style stuff with
in terms
Snap's
of Series
economy?
5 releases, they're releasing too fast.
Right.
So like, I do agree. I kind of wish that
there should be 2 Series 4 a month.
No, what I would, well, yes. Yes and no. That would be great if it was 2 series for a month. It would also be great if maybe one was just free.
Right.
You had all these new ones that are Series 5, the one Series 4, and then one that is general access, like true free to play, just straight to free to play, straight to streaming. Or if they just bottled up these additional cards and every 6 months they did like a full pack release.
They won't. They already don't
Just like
like
when they released
that.
Series 4 and 5
I agree.
starters. Like I wish that they did like some packs like that because yeah, it's like it's a lot of fatigue to keep up with the weekly releases. And then you get people burned out and then they leave the game and then they play other games and they realize those games are also fun and then they don't come back.
Or they want to come back a month down the road and then they feel left behind because
How do
the
I keep up with all these S5s?
exactly, and the returning for new players, or I guess returning players, sorry. Um there's no help. There's no incentive. There's no like
No, the
we,
help was series drops. That was the catch up mechanic.
yeah, but and then
And they're like,
but
we're not
now
going to
they
do that
but now
anymore.
they can't, even if they do 10 cards each drop, they have to also drop 4 to 3. So 5 and 5 and 5 and 4. Like that's like those are the drops, right? Like
Kind
10,
of.
but that's still not enough. You need to drop like 20 cards to keep up if you're doing it once or twice a year. Actually, if you're doing it once or twice a year, you need to drop like almost 25, 30 cards per drop. Like massive, insane drops.
I
But
mean,
they'll never do that.
I'm kind of getting to the point that like Series 3 should just be all free. Like, hey, they're all unlocked. You don't pay anything for Series 3.
Because
You
the
just,
bloat of Series 3 is already really insane for those kind of players. And
yeah.
then now, like, I don't know, like, the long winded way of putting it is their philosophy. So something's got to break. Either the economy breaks and it causes the game to eventually fail, right? Or their philosophy of no complete collections needs to break. Because what should be unique with your collection? Because they want everyone to have unique collections. The unique collection should be your variants and your splits. That should be what your unique collection is, not the cards or
Right.
the game pieces themselves.
Yeah, no, that's what I like. I mean, obviously there are some games where your collection truly is unique, but that's like Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh with
Not
thousands
not even that, to be honest. Like
in the catalog.
your collection in real life and paper might be unique in a sense, but like
Your
digitally,
meta deck is the same.
yeah, everyone's playing what's in
When
the
you go to
meta.
the tournament is you don't get surprised by anybody.
Right.
You're like, oh,
Unless
you're playing
they
this
bring
deck.
out their random 5 cost disgusting card you've never heard of from Khan's block back in like 2007, and you're like, why is that in your sideboard? And you're like, it's for the grindy matchups. Like
Sure.
that's the only time you'll ever
Right. So
be
it's
like,
something like that. It's something like that, right? So yeah, the release is getting a little bit tiring, but then again, I love hopping on stream every week to test the new cards.
right. I'm
I
not
love
getting
when
fatigued
Team
from the
Teddy
game
shows up to
itself.
right.
I'm just saying, I worry a little bit for the way the economy is, because it's just one of those has got to give eventually. Either the economy has to vastly improve to make it, somewhat possible to be collection complete. Like even at this point, you can't even be collection complete without dropping any kind of money beyond the season pass. And even that, like even if you're like a dolphin and you spend a little bit of money a month, you get the season pass every month, and then you get like a bundle or two a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even that doesn't even get you close to series like to being complete. Like
I
I
feel like it
don't,
does though. Like I'm doing it. Like I
because
buy
you've
the
already
season pass.
stockpiled all this extra stuff from your previous larger spending.
I mean, yes, but I mean my stockpile is not that high. I have 4 caches right now, and I have 9,000 tokens, and I've been at about that level for several seasons now. But it's stayed pretty equilibrium. 10,000 tokens right now. Now I have all this gold that I would be able to tap in if I needed to. And
Now,
trust me, I'm just waiting for a good bundle.
if they
But
add to the shop a way to spend gold for straight up tokens, do you
yeah,
think that's an appropriate way to have your gold spent? Because then technically you can spend gold for game pieces.
I mean, it's Token Tuesdays. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying like the same thing as like you can spend 400 gold to get 500 credits, right? Or 1200 gold
Mm-hmm.
to get like 1200 credits, right? Or 2000 credits, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is. They do the same
Yeah.
thing, but it's tokens. You drop X amount of gold, and that gives you. They just have it based on like 1,000, 3,000, and 6,000, or your three
How is this
options,
different than Token Tuesdays?
because they would have it. They would always be available,
Okay.
and it's just
Just
their
so you
part of
could
the
do it
shop.
more often.
And they would probably just not have Token Tuesdays anymore. They would
No,
replace
but I
it.
love Token Tuesdays. I
Well,
buy that because they don't give me any other gold bundles.
yeah. I mean,
Actually, I haven't bought Token Tuesdays in a while, but I did
because they
for a
haven't
long
been
time
very
there.
good in a while.
But yeah.
And then these For You bundles are awful.
For you, spend $30 for a premium mystery variant. What?
Yeah, I had one that was
But it's just
$50,
for
and it was
you.
6,000 tokens in a premium variant. Someone's like, "Isn't that a good deal?" I'm like, "Yes, within the confines of the Snap economy,
Right.
technically speaking, they've established $100 is around the amount for a Series 6 card or Series 5 card for 6,000 tokens. So technically speaking,
I thought it was like 50, but okay.
it's been 100 for a while.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. And they've had
Yeah.
some things recently that's kind of lean towards 50, but for the last year, it's been consistently, it's been 100. Now, if it shifts back to 50, cool. But then at that point, the way you could kind of put it in perspective is like, would you like one new shiny card in Marvel Snap for $50? Or would you like Helldivers 2 and $15 left
I
over to
was
go
waiting
see
for you to say Helldivers,
to
man.
go see, because I know that one's $35. And then you have
Yeah,
15 bucks left over and you can go see Dune 2. Look at that.
exactly. That me and Teddy Wife are going to see Dune 2 for the second time in IMAX here. Coming
I
up.
have not
I'm
seen it
hyped.
yet at all.
Oh no.
I'm probably gonna go this weekend.
Did I tell you that I saw it in the 4D theater, which was amazing?
No, but that does sound cool.
If there's a 4D theater around you, I highly recommend. They're equipped with like air guns in your seat.
Yeah.
So like for the
they
action,
make you there.
you'll get like blasts of air for like bullets flying past your ears. It's really good.
I remember, I think it was Shrek, like 4D over at like Universal had that, and there's a scene where like rats are running like on the ground. They're like, and like they had like all the air hitting you. It felt like rats running by your legs. Like that's sick.
That's the
great.
memorable moments in cinema. Shrek 4D, baby.
Yeah.
Peak American culture.
I love Universal. I got an email from Universal today being like, "Hey, if you want $300 off these season passes, we got you for a limited time." And I'm like, "Damn, you're really making this tempting, huh?" Yeah. I love Universal. I will always say, if someone's trying to choose between Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure for seasonal passes versus Disney, please just choose Universal Islands of Adventure. It's so much better. It's so much better.
I kind of agree, but I mean, I understand the properties. If the properties are really swaying you, but for a season
rides
pass,
are better. The
they
rides are better. The Harry Potter stuff is better.
So good.
The like the Marvel side's great. The medieval side, which is pretty much Harry Potter now, but there's still a little bit of that left over with like what's it called? Where he's like, "Give me that trident." It's like a walkable show.
It is. That part, like the prehistoric era, is like completely empty. There's like a couple restaurants and shops, but there's no rides. The rides are all closed.
Yeah, it's just the walkthrough like show that where he's like, it's Poseidon fighting someone else. That's like,
I don't think that was even running when I went.
It has to still be. There's no way.
Okay, well,
do not great movie ride me, Teddy, because that I can't lose two of my childhood rides.
It wasn't there when I was there.
Also, why would I go back to Disney if the great movie ride's not even there anymore? Why did they get rid of it? It's the best ride.
They had to put something else in place with a nice screen and cute chibi characters.
This makes so sad. All right, I
have
nothing else to talk about for Snap.
Gusts.
I think we're good. We went over OTA, how bad the economy is. We still like the game. What's not
for the record, I think the economy is like not as bad as some people cry about. Like I feel like I keep up okay, and especially if you're willing to pass on like one card a month, you can definitely do it.
Yeah, but if you want to be serious complete, good luck. I eventually will reach a point where I can't be serious complete. I know that's eventually going to happen. We'll see.
Wow.
I just think that's where it's heading. Like the extra card a month and the way all of Series 5 is like it's unsustainable.
Captain Ishmael came out and killed the whale in you.
Yeah. Also, like
War Machine coming out. Where do you think War Machine falls?
War Machine is the next Supergiant. What I mean by that is,
Ouch.
I know War
High
Machine's
potential, but is gonna fall through.
well, very simply, it's going
Brain
to be a
breaker.
very strong card, simply because of the thing with Infinite and Ebony Maw.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's going to make it very strong. But here's the thing: do you know why you don't see Supergiant anymore, Teddy? It's
Why
because
don't
when
I
I
see
play
Supergiant anymore?
because you play her on turn 4, your opponent's like, "Oh, I don't have priority. All right, bye."
Yeah.
Goliath. I don't want to know. No, thank you.
Yeah.
When I see someone drop War Machine on 5, I'll be like, does Infinite win them this game? Yeah. See ya.
They're gonna play him on top of Hope on 5 to be able to have 7 energy for
And
both Ebony Maw and Infinite. Good
yeah,
night.
if you see Hope on 3, War Machine
Yeah.
on, or Hope on 4, War Machine on 5.
I mean, yeah, whatever combo.
You could also do Hope on 3, War Machine on 4,
Yep.
Infinite on 5, and then
Exactly.
Taskmaster on 6 plus Ebony Maw
Or Zola.
or Zola, yeah, or Zola. Oh god, that's terrifying.
Yep.
Dodge the Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
That's
So
like
when you
Sarah
see,
level, or sorry, Shuri level of like, are they going to do this? Or are they going
Right.
to do this?
It's going to be a combo deck is what the
'Cause they
best
could
version of War
armor
Machine
on
is.
2, and that means that Infinite's not going down.
Yeah, they also can, then you can't Zol it, but yeah, that's fine. Also, yeah, does this just replace Shuri?
Kind of.
Because you don't
I
need
guess.
to like you could run Cosmo too and not need to run Sauron. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so War Machine's just gonna be that card you see played, and you're like, yeah, no thanks, and you retreat. And War Machine's gonna be a fun card and cool card, and it might be a mainstay in lockdown, perhaps, to like, oh, they won the storm lane that I made. I want to get it back. Sure. But for the most part, I think the best home for it is a combo deck in which you just win by playing big old Infinite for free.
That is part of the wild thing is it's like it's one-sided. This is not Snow Hawk where it's both sided. Like
Correct.
the storm lane is open to you, but not for them. So would be the Pro X. Oh, I did like Pro X on 4. I whiffed. Well, War Machine on 5. Okay.
Yep.
It's the meme.
I can
coming
drop,
back with my BS.
Yeah, I can drop Infinite. Let's say you turn you storm.
No, but you don't have to care about Infinite. You could drop anything, right?
No, I know.
Renslayer into Blind Pro X into War Machine into Fix It.
Yeah, and then you're probably wanting to run things like what's it called, Titania, and like the Ravonna X deck I've showed you before.
Mm-hmm.
In that deck, that's great because you're. Oh, also I like this in Zukula too.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, Zukula's cool because like you already run.
Instead of Dracula eating it, you could just play it. Exactly,
and you have a nice little pivot point. Or you can do both. You can play Dracula, and you can still you can still have lines where you can play Infinite, or you can still go like 0 into Destroyer kind of stuff. Like, that's fine, fun. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fun card, but it's not going to be particularly amazing because you should retreat when they do the things.
So, I kind of got excited for it right now, though, just talking about all this stuff we could do.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
All right. Check out the streams. We're both going to be testing out the cards. We'd love to see you guys out there. Bring your theory crafting hats and let us know what kind of deck you'd like to see us backseat game if you've been in on that Thanos video. Love to do that again and keep on polishing that format for you guys.
Yep. And you can go to check out early episodes or live episodes like some people are watching right now over on patreon.com/can'tstopsnapping. Remember, you can join without paying. You can just join the Patreon for free, and you can decide if you want to upgrade to another tier later on. But you guys just being there in general helps a lot, gives us insight on what we want to do with the service and all that good stuff. And of course, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's help grow that a little bit more so we can give you guys best of both worlds and give a place for the Patreon bonus stuff to go live on. And with that, we love you and appreciate you, and we will see you next week. Teddy?
Don't stop snapping.
Can't Stop Snapping is a podcast hosted and produced by Brad Saffer and Teddy Ninja, Originally created by Michael Thurman.